50, 45, there goes Davis.
Oh my God!
Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game. Auburn's going to win the football game. He ran the missed field goal back. He ran it back 109 yards. They're not going to keep him off the field tonight. Holy cow. Oh my God. Auburn wins. Auburn has won the Iron Bowl. Auburn has won the Iron Bowl in the most unbelievable fashion you will ever see.
Oh, welcome in, everyone, to episode 310 of The Dream Wager. Today is September 23rd, 2023. And Elvis, the 49ers are the best team in the league. How you doing, kid?
Dylan, I'm doing great. Not so weather. It's going to be raining all weekend. Me and Dylan was discussing about possibly going to the Jets-Patriots game at MetLife tomorrow, but there's a storm upon us, boys.
Yeah.
It's not looking like a go, but we will be watching it in spirit.
Oh, yeah. We were thinking about it, a little friendly wager between a Patriot and a Jet fan. We were thinking about it, but weather, or I guess storms in general, are on my enemy list because it should be a good game, low-scoring game. You guys beat us for 15 years in a row, or 10 years, whatever it is. I think it's 15 times in a row.
Yeah,
but,
like 7 years. Something like
yeah,
that, 7 years.
We don't need to go into details. But, like I said, 49ers, best team in the league. They cover the double digits. They wind up winning Thursday night 30-12. First half team total hits under 7.5. Good call there. The team total 16.5. It was easy. I think it's only been 3 weeks, but Elvis, I think we can clinch them. They're going to make the playoffs. I think we can finally congratulate them. They're going to be in the playoffs. They're the best team in the league so far. So what do you think of the 49ers performance?
They just showed and proved that they're the best overall team in football. They're just so I'm not going to say violent. They just play so old school. Like when Deebo Samuel started taking over the game, like in the beginning of the third quarter, when they were just running the ball with him, just force feeding him the ball mostly. He just took over the game, though. They couldn't tackle him. Christian McCaffrey, he might just be the best running back in football once again, though. He's just running behind one of the best offensive lines. He could run it. He could catch the shit. We seen him throw a few as well. So it's just I'm not gonna say it's shocking, but I still can't get surprised or amazed how Kyle Shanahan could just sub in guys, put in guys, and they could make plays. Like Brandon Ayuk was ruled out, and then the rookie Bell, Ronnie Bell, had himself, like, don't get me wrong, the numbers are out there, but he had a touchdown. He was a difference maker. So like that's what I got. Like that's what I respect. That Kyle Shanahan, it don't matter who's in, who's out. He's going to find somebody, and he's going to put him in the position in the field to make plays, and that's exactly what he did. The whole team went off. Brock Purdy didn't have a great game. To me, he was a little sloppy. Could have threw a couple interceptions with those tip balls, but overall, give credit to the 49ers. They do look like the best team in football.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up Brock Purdy because that was my thing. He's undefeated as a starter besides that playoff game where he got injured and got taken out.
Let's just say he's undefeated when he starts and finishes the game.
Yes. So I like Brock Purdy. I know a lot of people after Thursday night game, they came out and said, he's okay. I don't want to hear the slander. Yes, he didn't have the best game. Still threw for over 300 yards. And yeah, there could have been interceptions, but there was also some really nice throws, especially in the first half, lofting it over the linebacker, right, and Ronnie Bell right on the sideline. Ronnie Bell, 40-1 for the first touchdown score. So whoever hit on that, man, shout out to you. But other than that, man, I really liked what I saw from 49ers running the ball, throwing the ball. And yeah, they have the best offensive line, that defense. Besides that first drive from the Giants, I really thought they settled down after that. Matt Breida did have that one touchdown on the goal line. But other than that, the secondary held up. Deebo Samuel, what a fucking game. 6 catches for 129 yards. It makes the quarterback's job easy when you catch the ball and the yards after catch is another 20, 30 yards. So they did this without Brandon Ayuk, which is very impressive. And, I don't want to go too far down, but, this Giant team, they're 1-2 to start the season, and they got a really tough schedule. They're at home against the Seahawks, on the road against the Dolphins and the Bills. I mean, they might be 1, 3, they might be 1-5 going into the Commanders. Like, I'm telling you, regret. And it's not just this team. We've talked about it with the Vikings winning all those close games last year. Regression is going to come for you. So what do you think of the Giants side?
Still, realistically, I feel like, offensively they didn't show up. Without Saquon, we know what Daniel Jones is. He's just a slightly below average quarterback without Saquon. With Saquon, he's a top 15 quarterback. With Saquon right aside of him, Dill, we could honestly agree on that because the numbers are inflated with Saquon in the lineup, Dill. But defensively, I think they played pretty well. I understand they put up 30 points, yes, but Dill, in the first half, it was a much closer game than we expected it to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to give the Giants the defense credit because to me, I think they did a great job against a juggernaut offense in the 49ers. Even without Brandon Ayuk, I still think this is one of the best offenses in football. So I'm going to give them some credit there, But offensively, Daniel Jones, I can see why he got a lot of criticism Friday morning just because he does not look good with Saquon. The numbers, the stats, you could look at the record, passing yards, QBR, everything. Everything is almost times 2 with Saquon on side of him, and everything is just much lower without Saquon. I wish I had the stats in front of me. I saw it the other day. I wish I would have just wrote it down. But Daniel Jones without Saquon is just a bad recipe.
Yeah, he turned the ball over. They wind up putting Tyrod Taylor in for like the last 2 drives in the fourth quarter. The game was out of reach by that end. But yeah, they couldn't run the ball, obviously, without Saquon. Even passing, I know Darius Slay, like, he had an okay game, but you know who doesn't really look good? And it sucks because I drafted him, Darren Waller. 7 targets, and a lot of them hit his hand. I don't want to blame Daniel Jones, but they hit him right in his hands. Darren Waller has to come down with that.
Yeah, it was a few, like the one, it was in the middle. He got to come down with it. Was a 3rd down conversion. Yeah. And then it was one on the sideline where, yes, it was a little high, but bro, aren't you like 6'4"?
He's 6'5", 6'6", yeah.
Yeah, like he didn't really elevate on that one. He just like reached for it. If he jumps for the full capacity, I know he's capable of jumping, and trust me, he comes down with it. Mm-hmm. So I agree with you. There was definitely a few balls Darren Waller should have came down with, and probably would have helped the Giants on driving a little better down the field. Though it's just Darren Waller doesn't. I'm not gonna say he doesn't look good though. He might just not be healthy. Remember, he's coming off an injury last season. He might not just be 100%. Maybe he's only 80. Give him a few more weeks still. But you are right.
I also want to say, these are reports, so I don't know how true they are, but we could only go on reports. Report is after that Dallas game where they were held to 0 points and the first half of that Arizona game, the start of the second half, Brian Daboll started to play calls, and he called all the plays for Thursday night. He's the one actually scoring points for this team is Brian Daboll. Do you think the head coach should do that and take it away from the offensive coordinator if you start to see your season spiral downward? Or do you think you should just leave it up to the OC? Or do you think you'd be like, hey, we're not scoring points with you, I'm taking over?
Dill, at the end of the day, he's the head coach for a reason. So I think he made a great call by doing that, Dill. If your offensive coordinator, no disrespect to him, but if he's not doing a good job, you got to take over as the head coach. We know Brian Daboll, the success he had in Buffalo with Josh Allen. We saw the success he had last season with Daniel Jones. There's no question. I believe Daboll could call plays and run an offense solely. Yeah. So it's nothing about that. It's just, you have an OC, and it's a small chance he might not be up to par for the job.
Yeah, 100%. And now spinning it forward for the 49ers, 3-0. They get a layup next week against the Cardinals. By the way, defeated. He hasn't won a game in prime time, Daniel Jones, and now he plays on Monday Night Football. So I have to look to fade him again next week for the Giants. But yeah, for the next couple games for the 49ers, they're at home against the Cardinals. I think they should win that. At home against the Cowboys. I was really excited. That should be an amazing game. Best 2 teams right now. Obviously, with the Trayvon Diggs injury. Let's talk about that because we never really got to talk about it. It happened, I think, Thursday morning or Thursday during practice. Tore his ACL. He's out for the season. It's a damn shame, to be honest, because as much as I don't like the Cowboys, they are playing fantastic football right now. You hate to see injuries, and Trayvon Diggs is a top 5 corner in the league. And, it was actually feeling like a little Jets because, we actually had hope. Cowboy fans I've spoken to, they were like, we actually have a really good team this year. Offense, defense, they're all clicking on all cylinders. And for your top corner to go down, thank God they picked up Stephon Gilmore in the offseason, but it's hard to replace a guy like Trayvon Diggs. What do you think that impacts their defense?
Still, to be honest, don't get me wrong. He's a Pro Bowler, so it's gonna be a big loss. But I think me personally, I think the front seven is so good that you could possibly get away without having Trayvon Diggs. Because let's talk, Dill. Let's break it down. Let's be realistic. Who in the NFC have 2 good wide receiver duos that you could possibly match up in the playoffs? It's the 49ers, the Eagles,
Minnesota.
The way they looking, Dill, I'm not sure, but I'm gonna throw them in there. Minnesota, the Saints, they got 2 good wide receivers. They possibly will be in the playoffs. So you just got to look at it. The Rams, if Cooper Kupp comes back healthy.
Seahawks.
Seahawks, yes. Seahawks as well, Dill.
And the Lions. If Amon-Ra St. Brown could stay healthy. But yes.
But at the end of the day, Dill, the 2 you're most worried about is the 49ers and the Eagles. So those 2, they have 2 top 10, 2 top 15s, with the Eagles. And then with the 49ers, we saw it, Brandon Ayuk week 1 go off. So I just feel like during the season, it's not going to be that much of an you're not going to miss them as much. Me personally, just because I think your front seven is so elite. Me personally, I think they're 2nd or 3rd best defense still.
Yeah, real quick, if your front seven could get after him, you could get away with playing man most of the time.
Exactly. And let's not forget, people, the guy who's going to come in to replace Diggs was I forgot his first name, but his name is Blam, and he led their team, the Cowboys, last year in interceptions. He did, not Diggs.
Yeah.
So let's just get that clear, people. So I just want the Cowboys Nation to understand that you're not going to miss them too much in the regular season because you're going to win, 12, 11, 13 games no matter what. Either way, y'all look good. But come playoff time, that's when they're going to miss them, Dill. Versus, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. Against Debo, Brandon Ayuk. Against Justin Jefferson, Addison. Against Metcalf and Tyler Lockett and Smith. Against Michael Smith and Chris Olave. That's when you're going to miss them come playoff time. In the regular season, your defense is good enough and Dak is good enough to carry those. But in the playoffs, when you're facing those 2 good wide receivers, that's when it's going to be somewhat of a problem. But I wouldn't be too concerned now. You got a whole season to work that secondary. And let's not forget, people, Dan Quinn is a great defensive mind. He's one of the best DCs in all of football, and I think he'd be able to take care of business.
Yeah, the remaining schedule for the Cowboys, they got Arizona this weekend, which should be, I don't want to say a layup, but should be an easier type game. They got the Patriots at home. Then they play the 49ers, like I said. Then they're back-to-back road games at 49ers and at LA Chargers. I know they're 0-2, but they have another good receiver set. Then you're home against the Rams, and then on the road against the Eagles. So few back-to-back tough games, I would say. 3 of the last 4 games are on the road, so should be very interesting.
And then the Redskins should be coming up pretty soon too, and we know that's not gonna be easy walkthrough. Remember, Sam Howell did beat these Cowboys last year. I think week 15 or 16.
7-2, the NFC East standings. 3 2-0 teams, and the Giants are 1-2. Who would have thought? Not me.
Not me.
By the way, you wearing a SummerSlam shirt?
No. It's some like Supreme card. It's not Supreme. It's not. I don't want people to understand. It's not Supreme, but it's like some.
From here in the cutoff, I thought it said Summer, and then the bottom said Slam. I said, "Oh shit, you're rocking the WWE today." I like it.
I wish. You know what's funny though? I got a John Cena chain gang jersey. That should hang up.
Oh, that's tough. You should hang that. Yeah, it's
I
his
know.
last. Apparently, he's making his farewell tour, and he's going. And tickets have like sold out. He was at Hershey Park up in PA the other week, and he's going he's going to obviously Madison Square Garden, all the big venues one last time up until WrestleMania, and then he's like kind of calling it quits. But I was looking up the tickets. Me and Ant were looking at. They're like, bread. It's because you're gonna go see John Cena last time. But yeah, let's get back to the picks. I just thought that was funny. Before we get to our plays college, we got week 3 NFL plays and any extra plays we got at the bottom. Quick word from our sponsor, Viva Tequila Seltzer, the most refreshing hard seltzer on the market, hands down. It's no wonder why Viva was voted #1 hard seltzer in the world by San Francisco World Spirit Competition. With only 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and a light 4.5 ABV, Viva is the perfect drink for your post-game celebration, as it was created with that active lifestyle in mind. We flavor tequila seltzer because flavor is the spice of life, and we like our drinks with just a kick, just like how we like our lives. Whether it's Huckleberry playing a round of golf with the boys, or an elderberry getting rained in on a Saturday watching college football, it doesn't matter. Our favorites pair perfectly with that artisanal Blanca tequila for that subtle and refreshing drink. Our belief here at the Dream Wager and at Viva is to live long, live well, and live it up. By the way, I forgot to ask you, good Thursday night overall for me. It went 3-1. Christian McCaffrey hit on his rushing prop. Daniel Jones had 5 rushing yards. Jesus Christ. That one was no good. Double digits. San Francisco laid the 10. Like that, right? And the Giants team total under 16. So a nice 3-1 to start the week. How did you do?
Still, 2-1, pretty good. I took the 49ers -2.5 first quarter. That didn't hit. Took -7.5 first half. That hit. And then I go back to the well. Christian McCaffrey over, what was it, 78.5 rushing?
It depends on what you got, 78 or 79. I've seen both, but it doesn't matter.
He went over it. So keep going back to the well. Like I said, I'm going to be betting it all year long. It's going to cash at least 14 out of 17 times. CMC over.
Especially the receiving and rushing. I bet it, but I didn't. It wasn't an official bet. It was just something I did on the side. It was at 113 receiving and rushing, but he went over that as well. He had 85 rushing yards and he had like 35 receiving yards. So, I mean, until the books start, catching up to these numbers or adjusting their lines, I think you're right. We got to continue to hammer the over on Christian McCaffrey. They're going to eventually put it up to like 90, 91, and then we might have to pump the brakes. But
hey, anything under like 90, I'm smashing. Anything under 90.
But let's get to it. We'll start on the college slate. Very good slate in college. I got a bunch of plays. I know you have a few as well. I'll let you lead it off. What's your first play of the day, kid?
Dill, first play of the day. Let's start it off, Dill. I wanted to touch that Rutgers game. They've been doing good, but stayed away.
They can keep it close against Michigan.
Dill,
who has Michigan beat? Come on.
I know.
This is a different Rutgers team.
No, I agree with you, Dill. But at the end of the day, you know me, I always show respect. Now, Michigan is tough. If we was at Rutgers, I'll be like, okay. But at Michigan, Dill, that's the big house. Gotta respect. I know, but it's still gotta show respect, Dill. Is it John Harbaugh comes back this week or no?
Yeah. It was a self-imposed 3-game suspension, and notice how the 3 games were ass teams. But
genius
here, there.
All right, 12 o'clock start, Dill. To me, this is I'm not gonna say the L word, Dill, but this is my most confident play of the day, Dill. Give me Florida State -1.5, -2, -2.5 versus Clemson at Clemson. Over the sitting at 55.5. Dill. Florida State is just a much better team. I don't know why the line is so. Maybe it's a trap game. Who knows, Dill? Maybe the Vegas knows something I don't. But what for my eye test showed me, for what I've witnessed the first 2-3 weeks of the season, Dill. Give me Florida State minus the house. -126 on the money line. -1, -1.5, -2, -2.5. It don't matter. Florida State.
Yeah, same. I'm on the same side. I took Florida State on the money line -128. I took a -2. It's down. Money is coming in on Clemson, and it's because Florida State has struggled in Death Valley. We know Debo, they really don't lose at home. I think that is the reason why the number is kind of close to a pick 'em. Everyone's overreacting about Florida State almost getting upset by Boston College, but I think that was a classic look ahead spot. They came in, they didn't take Boston College serious, and they almost lost. They were looking ahead to this game. I think they come in focused. I don't know why everyone's on Clemson as well, but not me and you. We're going to lay it with the Seminoles. I agree. Those are my two plays as well. I took them on the money line, and I also laid the 1.5 now, whatever you could get. Second game for me, give me the Cincinnati Bearcats plus 14.5 at home against Oklahoma. I get it. Oklahoma's good and whatnot, but Cincinnati, man, they won outright. Remember the other week again, they were 7 or 6.5 point favorites. They never trailed in the game at all. The line opened up 9. Money has just come in on the Sooners. Keep pushing it up. I'll take all the points. 14.5 at home for the Cincinnati Bearcats. First game in the Big 12 for Cincinnati. Give me the Bearcats at home.
Still, same. Give me the Cincinnati Bearcats plus 14 at home. Wish I would have got the hook deal with you, but I got the plus 14, and I like it. Don't get me wrong. OU did cover last week the minus 16, but they barely got there. I think Cincinnati's a little better of a team, and they're at home deal. I love the plus 14. I see the plus 13.5 now as well, so shop around, people. But I think we have to put a little sprinkle on the plus 430 deal. Give me the Cincinnati Bearcats plus 14.
Give me the SMU Mustangs on the road taking on TCU. Give me the plus 7 in my pocket. TCU has kind of bounced back after that loss against Colorado, winning 2 straight. But SMU, man, I think this should be a field goal game. I don't think the line should be this big. I get TCU's at home, but SMU is just, I think offensively they could hang. I think it's going to be a shootout. As you can see, the total is at 63.5. I do think we'll see points, but I think SMU offensively could hang. And if they make a couple stops late, I think this is a field goal type game. So getting 7 in my pocket, I love it with the Mustangs. Give me SMU plus 7.
Nice. So if you want, they'll just keep rolling through 1 o'clock because my last game is a 3:30 start. Unless you just want me to say it.
Yeah, you could say it. We'll ping pong it.
All right, bet. 3:30 start deal. America game of the week. Colorado facing the Oregon Ducks. Dill, this is going to be a game, Dill.
No Travis Hunter.
I don't care. Over under sitting at 70, Dill. I do believe it's going to be a shootout. I do believe the game will get to the 80s or high 70s at least. Still, I'm gonna lean with the over. I'm you know me, I'm not gonna take the over, but I'm gonna lean the over. I do think it's gonna be like a 48, 30 something, 40, high 40s, low 40 game. Still, the number just speaks to me. Give me the Colorado Buffaloes.
Wow.
Plus 21, Dill. It's just something about that 21, Dill. You telling me they're gonna lose by 3 touchdowns today? I don't think so. This is gonna be the best opponent Oregon has faced all season long. Their best defense, best offense by far. Don't get me wrong. Do I give, Colorado a shot? I think this will be the toughest matchup. I do think they will go down for the first time this season, though. But I expect them to keep it much closer than me and you anticipate. Give me Colorado Buffaloes and Dion plus 21. That 21 is special now, Dill. That 21 is special.
Over under 44.5 push-ups the Oregon Duck will do.
I'm going to say over.
They're averaging 51 points a game. And don't get me wrong. Like
I say they get to like 44, 6. 48. Around there.
Around there. I agree. I do like the over for the game. To be honest, man, I was trying to rationalize because I've never witnessed or watched film of Dion having a failed game or his boys showing up and getting embarrassed. And if you lose by 21 or by over 3 scores, you're getting embarrassed. I know it's at Eugene. This is obviously the toughest game for both teams. This is the best matchup either team has faced this season, but no Travis Hunter really scares me. I think it's going to be on Shedeur Sanders. Offensively, I do think they'll be able to put up points. It's that defensive line for Oregon is so fucking good. I think they will be able to get to Shedeur Sanders. I wanted to take the 21 as well, but I stayed away. I actually came out with a prop, and it's going to be on the Oregon side. Wide receiver Troy Franklin. He's a beast. 17 catches for over 300 yards this season, 3 touchdowns. His receiving prop is at 78.5. I found it at DK. No free shoutouts. But you look at his first 3 games of the season, 7 catches for 106 yards. Then against Texas Tech, 6 catches for 103 yards. Last week against Hawaii, they blew him out. He only had 4 catches for 83 yards. He's gone over this in all 3 games. I think he continues. We know the defense likes to take a lot of risk on Colorado, and they do lead the league in turnovers, but I still think they take a lot of gambles on it. So over 78 receiving yards for Troy Franklin. Oh my God, get it out. Franklin for the Oregon Ducks. So that's how I'm going to kind of play the game. I'm definitely going to watch it. I am rooting for Colorado.
It's must-watch TV, people.
100%. I'll say this. I think they actually have a better shot. I know you and I were talking to Rob about the upcoming game next week with USC. He's a USC fan. I actually think they have a better chance next week than they do this week. I think USC's defense isn't as good as Oregon's defense. I guarantee you the line won't be as big next week. I understand it's Caleb Williams going to be the number 1 pick, but defensively, we saw San Jose State put up over 28 points on them. If San Jose State could do that, Colorado and that team, I understand Travis Hunter is going to be out, but let's not kid ourselves. Colorado has some playmakers. So I will say this will be probably the hardest game for Colorado, and it's on the road. So I get it, but I'm going to go with a receiving prop. Any more college plays for you, kid?
Nah, dude, that's my only 3. You know, it was a tough week. You know, I'm not gonna force any. I picked those 3, gave them to the people. Good luck, everybody.
All right, couple ones I'll just rattle off for you guys. Give me the points on the road. BYU plus 8.5 against the Jayhawks on the road. I think this is just another big number. 8.5. BYU is actually playing some really good football. I get it. Kansas, they rejuvenated their program. They're not just a basketball school. They've dumped a lot of money into their program to become a football school. But I just think 8.5. I even see 9s out there. I just think that's a lot of points to be laying at home. So give me the BYU Mormons on the road. Give me Roll Tide at home against his ex-coach Lane Kiffin. Last time they were outside the top 10 in 2015. Do you know who Bama lost to?
Auburn.
Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin. So they have their number, but 6.5. They're changing quarterbacks again. They're going back to the kid who started the season. Yes, I get it. He struggles throwing the ball, but I think with his legs, he could extend plays, and just athletically, he's a little better of a quarterback. So I like to change back to quarterback. I'll lay the 6.5 at home with the Tide. Other game I like, Washington State. We took them not last week, but 2 weeks ago outright. I told you, tough place to play. Now they're home, catching 3 points against a very good Oregon State team. I think they're live again. Give me Washington State Cougars against the Beavers plus 3. Give me Kansas State. I know they fucked me the other week. The guy fucking Missouri kicked a 61-yard field goal to win the game. Jesus Christ. But I think against Dylan Gabriel against UCF at home, laying the 4.5 with the Kansas State Jayhawks. And the game. Oh, I was getting ahead of myself. My bad. Give me Iowa plus 15. Gonna be a whiteout in Death Valley at Penn State. Should be a really good game. The under is definitely in play. But Penn State's good. Don't get me wrong. I think Penn State's a very good team this year. They have the chance to go to the playoffs. But laying 15 against an Iowa team that has a really good defense that will punch you in the mouth, running the ball, gonna chew up the clock. I think 15's a little too much. I also teased them up to 21. That's a lock. I'll say that. And the game of the week, baby, in South Bend, Indiana, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish is hosting the Ohio State Buckeyes. It's a bad day to be an Irish fan. Give me the Buckeyes laying the 3 on the road. All the leprechauns, all the people dressing in green, they're going to be sad in South Bend tonight. Give me Buckeye. Look at him. Look how good he looks right here. Laying the 3, baby. Laying the 3 with Ohio State. Fuck Notre Dame. I hate them. I'm sorry.
I love it. I love it.
Them.
I love it.
Them.
Fuck
but
them.
Yeah, fuck them. I hate Notre Dame. I know it's Jesus Christ and it's a Christian and Catholic college. It doesn't matter. So give me the Buckeyes laying the 3 on the road. Should be the best game of the week, I think. 2 top 10 teams. So Elvis, that's going to do it for college. Let's get into the NFL week 3. And we will start in Cleveland with Brownie the Elves and the Browns hosting the Tennessee Titans. Browns laying 3.5. It's like, remember when Boomer did the fastest 3 minutes? Huh? It was like that sound when I looked at this number. Browns laying 3.5 at home, minus 186 on the money line, plus 156 for the Tennessee Titans. Over under is at 39.5. Elvis, I will let you start. How you playing this game, kid?
Still, coming off last week, there was a bad performance by Deshaun Watson in that offense. That defense looked good. I'm not going to say great, but it played a good game. Kenny Pickett didn't look well, Dill. It's just the offense was a little concerning for me. We know Nick Chubb went down. Let's see how Ford and Kareem Hunt do as a duel. Dill, to be honest, I think it's a bounce back spot, Dill. I'm not going to lay the 3.5, but I ended up teasing the Browns up. So I got them up to plus 3.5, Dill. I do think they'll win this game, but I do believe it'll be a field goal game or even a 2-point game, Dill. But I think this is a great bounce back for the Cleveland Browns. I think it's a perfect tease option just to get them to plus 3.5, Dill. So I did that, and then Dill, give me. I took a player prop, Dill. To me, this number is too low. We've seen this dude go for over 100 yards last week in 16 attempts coming in the second quarter in Jerome Ford. His over-unders at 45.5, Dill. He had 116 in 3 quarters last week. Give me Jerome Ford over 45.5 rushing yards at minus 115.
Yeah, I'm going to take the points with the Tennessee Titans plus 3.5. I also think it's a good teaser for them to get them up to 9.5. Tennessee as a dog, just Mike Vrabel. He's a better coach than Kevin Stefanski. And I just think Tennessee, they're just a really, really good team. Defensively, they have a great run defense. I think they're going to be able to stop Ford. So I don't know what I think about that. I do have a player prop as well. I'm going to take Deshaun Watson to throw an interception at plus 115. I got it at. He's thrown an interception in 6 of the 8 games he started since joining the Browns. Like I mentioned, Tennessee, strong run defense, no Nick Chubb. You know what that means? Watson's going to throw the ball more. Watson is 8th in the NFL in interception rate per pass, tied with Derek Carr, who's minus 150 to throw an interception this week. Getting plus money. Give me Deshaun Watson to throw an interception. I think that defense is going to confuse them. I think they're live. I think Tennessee wins outright. Give me Tennessee plus 3.5. Let's go to a game that no one really wants to pick. It will be on, but man, 2-0. One team's has to go. Los Angeles Chargers on the road taking on the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings kind of a pick 'em, laying minus 1.5, minus 120 on the money line, plus 102 for Justin Herbert and the Chargers. 54 is your total. I know Minnesota's a tough place to play still. How you playing this one?
Dill, I'm going to go with my eye test. This was a tough game to handicap, Dill, but from my eye test, who just looked like the better team throughout the first 2 weeks? It's Minnesota by a mile, Dill. Let's just be honest. Give me Minnesota Vikings on the money line, minus 112. Give me the Vikings minus 1 at minus 105, Dill. I just feel like Minnesota at home, I think they get this win. It's going to be a bad look for the Chargers team going 0-3, Dill. But, Dill, that defense doesn't look good. Joey Bosa. Not really making noise. Khalil Mack, he's past his prime. J.C. Jackson hasn't been good since he left the Patriots. Derwin James hasn't been good since 2018. I don't know what's going on with that defense, Dill. I think we both had high expectations with this Chargers team. Justin Herbert, we both believe he's that guy. Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, when healthy, it's a great wide receiver duo. Austin Eckler is that guy, but he has an injury. It's not. I think
He's out.
Joshua Kelly's back in there. That's concerning to me. Austin Eckler is one of the best dual threats to me, right behind Christian McCaffrey in all of football. So Dale, give me the Minnesota Vikings at home. And to be honest, I know this number is high, but I'm gonna lean Justin Jefferson over 101.5 receiving yards. Dale, this guy is just a dog. He's the best wide receiver in football. And to be honest, Dale, he started to separate himself.
100%. I wanted to say I forgot. Austin Eckler and Cam Akers both out. It's gonna take some time for Cam Akers to get situated. I know he has.
Let's not forget, people. Cam Akers. Austin Eckler is on a franchise tag, so he might not be rushing to return.
Go ahead. No, I agree with everything you said. I stayed away from the game just because it feels like both sides will eventually fuck us. I feel like Brandon Staley will just make a boneheaded move and will just wind up fucking us. I agree, and I think you're right. Justin Herbert is the guy, but let's be honest here. He got paid, but eventually he's going to have to make some superhuman or Superman type plays come late, because it always seems like he has the option and he always comes up short. And let's not kid ourselves. He has the offense. He has a good offensive coordinator. Is it him? Like, I honestly don't know. I think he has the most talent in the league, but he just doesn't make those time plays. Even in the overtime, he just went 3 and out. I know they want to push the ball downfield, but eventually you're going to have to make those big plays. So I don't know. I do lean Vikings, but I actually like the over a little more. I think both teams are just going to shootout. It's going to be a shootout. But then again, I could sit here at halftime. It'll be 10-7 and be like, well, the over's dead. Like, you know what I mean? I just feel like both of these teams could fuck us. If Brandley Stanley and they lose tomorrow, is he on the hot seat? He has to be.
He has to be, just because, though, you got Kellen Moore as the OC. You have something to do with bringing him in. You have something to do with giving Justin Herbert, I think, the 4th or the 3rd highest contract in NFL history. Still, I think he definitely is. There's too much talent and too much expectations for him not to be on the hot seat.
100%. So we'll see. No play for me there. Lean over, if anything. Let's go to the game that hopefully gets rained out and we never have to play. New England Patriots at MetLife taking on the Jets. Patriots laying 2.5 on the road. -152 on the money line, +128 for the New York Jets. Over under is at 36.5. Want nothing to do with this game, to be honest. I lean under, if anything. I saw it earlier in the day, not today, but yesterday. I saw it at 37.5. I see it. It's at 36. Obviously, money is coming down on the under. 2, I would say, below average offenses.
And it's going to be possible rainstorm.
It's going to be a rainstorm. I'm looking at the weather right now, 15-mile-an-hour winds. It's going to be an old school 70s game. They're going to run the ball, couple shots downfield, 2 good defenses. I see a 17-10 game, maybe 14-10. I definitely lean under. That would be my most confident play, but I don't know. I'm kind of trying to rationalize how I really feel about this game, because on one end, I want us to win and break the streak. But then again, I don't want to win, because if we win and the Patriots have a really bad season, then they might go and get Caleb Williams. And that would fuck us for 10 years in the future. So I'm like kind of torn between what to do with this game. That's why I stayed away from it. I just want to watch and see what Zach Wilson actually does this time around. Breece Hall needs more than 4 carries. I'll fucking tell you that much. But yeah, obviously I'm rooting for the Jets, but expectations, I would be lying if I said they're high right now. So lean under, should be a close game. But yeah, that's how I kind of play in the game, kid.
Still, This is my favorite bet of the weekend. Dill, I don't know. I understand you're a Jets fan, but let's not be delusional now. It's Zach Wilson versus the Bill Belichick's defense. Once again, at MetLife. It's going to be in the pouring rain. Dill, we know what's going to happen. Give me the Patriots on the money line. Minus 135. I see that minus 148 right now. Bet it at minus 148. Take the minus 2.5. Take maybe not 3.5, just because I do agree with you. It's going to be a low-scoring game. It might be a 13-10 game. It might be. But I tell you one thing, the Patriots will be on top. Dill, we both know Zach Wilson's going to throw 2 interceptions tomorrow. I know it. You should know it. If you don't by now, I witnessed him throw 3 2 years ago in the 17th row. Trust me, he's going to throw 2 interceptions tomorrow. He's going to at least turn the ball over twice tomorrow. Guaranteed. Death, taxes, Zach Wilson, interceptions. All 3 things guaranteed in this lifetime, people. Give me the New England Patriots. You want to bet it?
No.
I'll bet it.
So bet it.
No, but I want to bet it with you.
Nah, I just don't think everyone's saying he was bad. And I watched the game again. He really wasn't that bad besides the fourth quarter. I really think Zach Wilson's a much different quarterback than he was last season. So I don't think they're going to put him in situations where he will turn the ball over.
He's minus 214 to throw an interception.
Derek Carr's minus 150 to throw an interception. So,
minus 214, $2 favorite.
It's okay. He might throw one, but I don't know.
Throw one.
I don't know.
He's throwing one.
You said 2 guaranteed, so
2 turnovers.
I don't know about that. So we'll see. Should be a good game. I just want to sit back and watch.
I'm just going by what I witnessed in history.
Yeah, but it's different. It's different. You comparing last year to this year. 2 different players. Let's go down to Jacksonville. Jaguars laying 8.5 at home against the Houston Texans. $400 favorites at home. Plus 315 for the Houston Texans. Over under is at 44.5. Let me check the injury report, see if anyone is out for right now. Just Zay Jones, wide receiver for the Jacksonville Jaguars, is out, but should be a nice clear day down in Florida, 87 degrees, no winds. How are you playing this one?
Dill, it might shock you what I'm about to say, Dill. I have no play for either side, Dill. But I'm going to lean CJ Stroud over 236.5 passing, Dill. And this is why. You know who's 5th in the league right now in passing yards?
They're all garbage time, but CJ Stroud.
CJ Stroud. My point exactly, Dill. Would it shock me if CJ throws for 80, 100 yards just in the fourth quarter alone if they're down 17? Absolutely not, Dill. And I think that's why I like this play so much. I might take it officially come tomorrow, so just tune into my action. But Dill, I don't know why. He's just been throwing a lot of yards, Dill. You know, I think he had 380 last week. Dill, I just feel like he could get like you said, garbage time yards, Dill. So I'll lean him over to 236.5 just because Jacksonville might be up big in the fourth, and they're just gonna open up the playbook, see what the young kid could do.
Yeah, I was really tempted. I saw 10s earlier in the week, and I was very tempted to take Houston.
I do believe this is gonna be a tough game just because it's in division, and I'm gonna be honest. Houston is. I understand that they didn't look great against Indianapolis, but against Baltimore they looked all right. The defense just got to show up. Offensively, they moved the ball now. Nico Collins, he's pretty good. So I like what CJ Stroud on the offense is doing a little bit. Just defensively, they just can't stop a nosebleed. Yeah,
I'm glad you brought up Nico Collins because I was looking at his receiving yards. It's at 52.5. He's gone over this in both of his games.
Yeah,
first game against Baltimore, 6 catches for 80 yards. Last week, he had a hell of a week against Indianapolis. Granted, not the best defense, but let's not kid ourselves. Jacksonville doesn't really have the world's best defense either. So he had 7 catches for 146 yards. So
damn.
I lean Nico Collins over 52.5 receiving yards. It kind of seems a little short and disrespectful. Yeah. So I lean it. I never got to the window with it, but yeah, just check back on my action. I think I might, I'm writing it down now. I think I might actually take that. It just seems a little too low for me. So not going to touch the side or the total. I lean over, actually. I think we're actually going to see some points, but yeah, lean Nico Collins over 52.5 receiving yards. Let's go to the nation's capital, or Maryland. They play in Maryland. Washington Redskins hosting the Buffalo Bills. Bills laying 6.5 on the road. Plus 215 for the Washington Commanders. Minus 260 on the money line for the Buffalo Bills. Over under is at 43.5. Line seems a little too big in my opinion. Let's check the injured. Curtis Samuel is questionable. Logan Thompson is out. Their tight end. Going to be a little rainy day. Obviously, all along the East Coast, it's going to be a rainy day. But what do you think about this game?
Dill, I'm with you. I do feel like the line is a little too big. Have some respect. The Redskins are 2-0, but we did see Buffalo. I'm not gonna say they exploded offensively. I understand the Raiders ain't a great team defensively, so I'm not gonna hang my hat on it. But they did have a great offensive game last week, so you gotta give some credit there, Dill. But I think Washington could possibly make it close, Dill. With that being said, Dill, I ended up teasing Buffalo down, so I have a two-way teaser. Remember, I ended up teasing the Cleveland Browns up to 3.5, plus 3.5 from minus 3.5. So I teased the Bills down from minus 6.5 to just minus half a point. Though I think they win this game, maybe by a field goal, maybe by a touchdown, Dill. But I'm more confident that they'll be able to walk out with a victory than able to cover the 6.5, Dill. So that's what I ended up doing. Tease Buffalo down to minus a half a point, and then I have a player prop in this matchup, Dill. Our boy James Cook had over 100, I think 117 last week against the Raiders. I'm not even going to credit that. He had 48 rushing yards against your New York Jets, Dill, and we witnessed how sloppy that game is. He was able to get 48 on that defense, Dill, after a horrible performance of Josh Allen. A $120 last week against the Raiders, Dill. I think he goes back down, but I think he goes somewhere around 70 or 80 yards, Dill. Give me James Cook over 52.5 rushing yards at minus 130. If he was able to get 40 against the Jets on week 1, Dill, we saw that performance. I think he'll go well over 52.5 in Washington.
Yeah, my favorite play of the week. Give me the Redskins plus 6.5. Even tease them up to 12.5. I just think this line is ridiculous. I thought it was going to be 3.5. That makes a little more sense to me.
Or even 4.
I'm not going to credit Buffalo for their win. Let's not kid ourselves. Oakland is not a good team. So for them to explode for 30 points makes sense. Coming off a loss, you knew they were going to come out aggressive and hungry. So really doesn't surprise me what they did to Oakland, forcing turnovers and whatnot. But against this Washington team, and let's not forget, Eric Bieniemy has a lot of experience coaching against Buffalo, being in the AFC as long as he has. And let's not kid ourselves. The one thing we held Denver on, who we thought could keep them into games this year and most of last year, was their defense. They hung 30 with them with Sam Howell. And I think the TV and the camera crews think Eric Bieniemy's the head coach because the cameras are always on Eric Bieniemy. I love it. Ron Rivera hates it, though. Ron Rivera.
Ron Rivera is the type of guy who doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't care about the camera on his face. He doesn't.
But let's be honest, the camera people think Eric Bieniemy's the coach, and I love that.
No, but I like the fact that the broadcasting crew is giving Eric Bieniemy his due, his credit. Y'all see Sam Howell do a great play, and they cut to Eric Bieniemy. He called that. Let's give his credit because he didn't get the credit in Kansas City.
No, not at all. And he just put up 35 against a top 5 defense that allowed 16 points per game last season. So
definitely not top 5 no more. Definitely not top 5 no more.
And we'll get to them in a little, but that was the one thing they kind of held their head on. Like, hey, we play good defense. We'll be in every game. But I mean, what they did, they really impressed me going on the road in altitude and putting up 35 with Sam Howell. I think Bijan Robinson, not Bijan. Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself because that's another good pick I got. Brian Robinson Jr., man, he's the real deal as well. I just love everything about him and all the money, all the public. Let me see. 79% of the public is on Buffalo. You know me, I'm going the other way. Line is just too big. I think they're actually live. Give me the Redskins. And this was my sleeper team in the NFC. I did take them to go over 6.5 wins and to make the playoffs. I don't know if we're there, but if they win this week, woo, we're live. Yeah. We're live.
In the NFC, they're definitely live. They go 3-0.
Yeah. But yeah, should be a really good game. I think it's one of the best 1 o'clock games in the window. And by the way, don't want to get off a tangent, but what are we doing with these 1 o'clock games and then these 1, 2, like 4 o'clock games? Like,
they got to do a better job.
4. They got to do better. I'm cool with the doubleheader on a Monday night, but all these 4 o'clock games suck. Like, oh my God. I'm sorry, but I was looking at the slate and I was like, they got to do a better job at this. But let's stay in Maryland. We'll go to Baltimore, just a little up north, I-95. We'll go to the Ravens. Baltimore laying 8.5 against the Indianapolis Colts. Money line minus 405 with the Baltimore Ravens. Colts plus 315 on the money line. Over under is at 44.5. Justice Hill is out for the Ravens. Odell is out. Anthony Richardson is out. Gardner Minshew time. What do you think here?
Dill, this Colts team has been impressing me, Dill. They definitely playing much better football than I expected. So Anthony Richardson looking like, the best quarterback so far in the first 2 weeks of the season. Anthony Richardson has played the most impressive, but he's not in, Dill. Gardner Minshew mania is going to be the starting quarterback in Baltimore, Dill. That's the thing, Dill. I think it's going to be a tough matchup. Yes, I give him a shot to cover just because we've seen Lamar Jackson be a little sloppy with the football, Dill. Would it shock us if Lamar Jackson fumbles in like the 30-yard line tomorrow? Absolutely not, Dill. And the Colts get great field position. It wouldn't shock me, Dill. But I do think Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens will take care of business. It's just I'm not going to lay the 8.5, Dill. That's just me. So I ended up teasing them down to minus 1.5. This is when they're at 7.5. I'll still tease them down to minus 2.5 with the 8.5, Dill.
Yeah, I think that, like you said, I think this is a perfect tee spot for the Ravens. I think they get it done. Indianapolis has been a pesky team. I will say that AR-15 being out kind of sucks because he is that kind of like energy and bolt that this offense kind of needs. Defense has actually played a little better than I anticipated. Frank Wright is not a bad coach at all. So I think they'll hang around for most of the game, especially if they could create some turnovers. But it's a tough place to play at the bank against a Baltimore team that's firing on all cylinders right now. I know they're dealing with some injuries, but you have fucking Lamar Jackson. I think you'll be fine. So they should win. I don't know if I'd lay it, to be honest. It is a big number at home, but I think it's a perfect tee spot to get them down to under a field goal. So going to be both here on the Ravens. Let's get over to the game I was alluding to earlier. Ford Field in Michigan, Detroit Lions laying 3 at home, minus 164 on the money line. Falcons plus 3, plus 138 on the money line for the dog. Over under is at 46. Line opened up at 5.5 for the Lions. Money is swarming in on my Atlanta Falcons, and rightfully so. Give me the plus 3. I got it plus 3.5. You can still find 3.5s out there, but This is my darling team this season. I'm going to continue to back the Falcons. Lions are banged up. Amon-Ra St. Brown's banged up. They got a few more guys on defense. So I give me the points with the Falcons. I am a little worried because Desmond Ridder is making his first road start. I just don't think the Lions can stop their run game. You got Tyler Aguilar, you got Bijan Robinson, and they play old school, punch you right in the mouth football. They chew up the clock. Their defense isn't the best, but they're going to tie. I think they'll make enough stops on Jared Goff. And let's be honest, the Lions fuck it up. They fucked up Barry Sanders' day last week. Their first sold-out crowd, they lost outright. Now they're hosting Desmond Ridder. And I will say, I don't trust Desmond Ridder. I don't think he's an elite quarterback. But I think he does just enough to win the game. Should be a very close game like we saw last week against the Packers. Maybe a walk-off from Koo. But I'm going with the Atlanta Falcons. They're a top 10 team, and I think the Lions are a little fraudulent, in my opinion. So I'm going to take the 3.5. I think it's also a good teaser spot.
Joe, I think this is a perfect bounce back scenario for the Detroit Lions. Still getting, like you said, embarrassed last week. Barry Sanders Day, first sold out crowd in since probably like 10, 15 years, Dill. And they just got wiped off the field. Give credit to the Seahawks going in there and taking care of business, Dill. But I think it's going to be a different Lions team that shows up tomorrow, Dill. Give me the Detroit Lions minus the 3 at minus 118, Dill. Don't get me wrong. The Falcons have been impressive. Let's just say that, Dill. Definitely much better than I anticipated, Dill. But at the end of the day, I think you're going to ask too much for Desmond Ritter to go on the road and to, go out there and play great. I think he could play good, Dill, but I think he's going to have to play great to win this game in Detroit, Dill, and that's the only thing. If they were at home, I would have took Atlanta. But in Detroit, Dill, I just feel like this team is going to come out with a different intensity. They know the lack of they showed up last week. I think this week they're gonna go out there and give the fans a show. Give me the Detroit Lions minus the 3. Would it shock me if it pushes? No, because I think it will be a great game, but I do think the Lions will show up and show out.
This is the other game I was alluding to, the best game. This and the Bills and Redskin game are the two best games, I think, in the 1 o'clock slate. We'll obviously have the Jets on, but I think I will say the Lions have been more battle tested. They versed two good teams, the Chiefs and the Seahawks, compared to Atlanta versus Green Bay, which is an middle of the pack team, and Carolina, who's a rebuilding team. Now, my one issue is
and real quick though, you can make the case they face two rookie quarterbacks in Bryce Young and Jordan Love.
Yeah, that's also a good point. And like you said, I do worry about Desmond Ritter. He's undefeated at home, but he can't really win on the road. That does worry me a little bit. I think that is the big question mark in this game. But if he can, not turn the ball over, make the third downs, I think they could keep this game close. So gonna keep riding with my Falcons. They've turned into my they're my second favorite team. Hey, if the Jets season's done, I'm an Atlanta fan. You'll start to see Atlanta be immortalized here soon.
You don't see no Jets?
Hey,
damn, that's crazy. You don't even got a Jet sign.
That is crazy. To be honest, they've given me nothing to cheer for. Let's be honest. You've seen your team win how many Super Bowls?
7 of them, 6 of them. Dang, 5.
You've seen 5.
0-1, I ain't watched the game. I'm gonna be real, but I watched the second one. I watched us beat Carolina.
Yeah, Jake Delhomme. Shout out Jake Delhomme, man. But I mean, they haven't really. I have Garrett Wilson's rookie card on Ohio State and the Jets upstairs. So
I know, but Dill, from the fans' perspective, they won't know you're a Jets fan.
It looks like I'm a fraud a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like you're an alcoholic up there. Now imagine.
That was good. I didn't expect that. That was good. Oh man, let's go out to Green Bay. Should be a good game. Kind of a pick 'em. -1.5 at home for the Packers. Alcoholic. +1.5 for the Saints. -102 short dogs on the road for the Saints. -116 for the Green Bay Packers. Over under is at 42.5. I felt like this was a tough game to come down on a side for. I thought the line would be close. I honestly thought Saints would be the favorite. Jamal Williams is out. Aaron Jones, game time decision. They said he is on track to play. Christian Watson doesn't look like he'll play for the third straight game. So that's kind of all the things. You know what? I stayed away, but from like an eyeball test, I really wanted to take the Saints +1 or on the money line straight up, but I really didn't get a good feel for this game. What do you think, E?
Dill, you know how I've been backing the Packers all season, Dill, but give me the Saints on the money line. Give me the dog of the weekend. Give me the New Orleans Saints. Yeah, give me the New Orleans Saints on the road, Dill. To be honest, I think it's just too much too soon for Jordan Love. I think you're asking too much for him to go out there and beat this offense. I think Vegas is actually too much for even putting him as the favorite versus this defense. Let me just check these stats real quick, people. Bryce Young. Jordan Love, week 2, Dill. He only threw for 180 yards against the Falcons, right? 151 against the Falcons in week 2. And then in week 1, he only threw for, hold on one second, people, 245. A little better against the Chicago Bears, people. But I expect them to be a little more like we saw last week in Atlanta versus this New Orleans defense. We know that front seven is going to get to you, especially with Cam Jordan, Dill, can still get to you, Dill. I think I just don't understand why New Orleans is the underdog. To me, they got the better wide receiver core. I understand no Kamara, no Jamal Williams, but still, I think they got the better defense, better offense. And to be honest, I might give them even the better special teams just because Dennis Allen's the head coach still. So with that being said, give me the Saints on the money line. I took them +2 as well, and I'm gonna lean Jordan Love under two. I think it's 209 passing yards still.
Yeah, very good defense.
Yeah, I just don't see them able to put up a ton of yards and points on this Saints defense still. If it was a snowy day, something or rainy, just because just New Orleans is a dome team, maybe, but it just doesn't make sense to me. Give me New Orleans on the money line.
Yeah, I was going to take a anytime touchdown prop with Taysom Hill. I think this is like a perfect Taysom Hill type anytime score touchdown game. I lean Saints with you. I do think overall they have the bet. They might not have the running game this week, but I think receiving wise, I don't know about coaching. The jury's still out about Dennis Allen. I think he's a good DC.
He's a great DC. Yeah.
But as a head coach, I think the jury's still out there. LaFleur has shown you he is a good coach, and I harped on him. I didn't think he was a top 10 coach last year. So I do think LaFleur is a better coach. This was a really tough game. I really wanted to stay away. One thing I really was looking at, Mike Thomas over 4.5 receptions. It's juicy, -150, but he has 5 catches in his first game. He had 7 catches the other game. So he's gone over in both straight games, but it's very chalky. I wouldn't advise that. So at +250, Taysom Hill anytime touchdown, I think is worth a flyer. So that's kind of really how I would play it. Really nothing concrete for me in this game. To be honest, I'm rooting for the Saints, though. Screw Green Bay. Let's go to...
You can't be rooting for the Saints. You just said my Falcons. You need the Saints to lose.
Yeah, true. But I like the Saints. I'm a Michael Thomas guy.
Nah, I picked the Saints to win the division, so I got it. I need them to win. So
let's go to Miami. By the way, odd-on favorite for the MVP. I want to get that out there. Tua do you agree with him being the favorite to win the MVP? Right now.
Dill, I'm going to hit you with what you hit me with the power rankings. Through the first 2 weeks, yeah. At the end of the day, Dill, is he? No. But for the first 2 weeks, yeah. I don't agree that the Falcons are a top 10 team, but for the first 2 weeks, they shown they playing like it, but I know they're not. And the same way Tua is not the MVP. But for the first 2 weeks of the season, though, you can't disagree. He's been playing better than Patrick, playing better than Josh Allen, definitely way better than Joe Burrow, better than Jalen Hurts. So yeah.
Justin Herbert too. Everyone.
Yeah, I didn't even mention he's 0-2. He's not even in the conversation.
Yeah, he's not even in the conversation. Yeah, you're right. But you're right. I mean, first week against the Chargers threw for 466 yards. Last week against your Patriots threw for 249 yards. He's completed 65% of his passes. I mean,
it's good. Like you can't.
Yeah, no, I can't say anything, to be honest. Yeah. Like he definitely deserves it. We'll see if he stays healthy, but
he definitely deserves to be the favorite.
Yeah. I saw that the other day. I was like, interesting, but shocking. I get it. I get it. They are facing the Denver Broncos, desperate Denver Bronco team, 0-2, taking the road on the Miami Dolphins. I hope we see players throw up in that heat tomorrow. Miami Dolphins laying 6.5 at home, -270 on the money line, +6.5 for the Broncos, +220. Over under is at 47.5. You give Sean Payton and Russ any chance here?
Dill, I give them a shot just because they're going to come out with some aggression and some hunger. It's going to be flat out embarrassing if Russell Wilson starts 0-3, and if Sean Payton starts off 0-3 as a new tenured head coach still. I think that's just flat out a bad look and embarrassing. Not just, for us, for the Sean Payton, but for the Broncos organization. Though we had high expectations, especially losing 2 home games, one to Sam Howell and the Commanders. No disrespect, but come on now, we expected y'all to win that game.
I think the worst loss was actually to the Raiders, bro. To be honest, they lost a 17-16 game. You scored 16 points on that defense.
Week 1, but at the end of the day, at least we can say that's a divisional opponent.
I guess
they play each other. They play the Commanders once every 4 years.
Yeah.
So like, it's just concerning that look. But Dill, give me Miami. I give Denver the shot to cover. Absolutely, Dill. But I ended up teasing Miami down to a pick 'em with the Baltimore Ravens. So, I ended up teasing the Baltimore Ravens down. So if you're doing it now, people, tease the Baltimore Ravens down to -2.5. Tease Miami down to basically a half a point, and you'll get that at -134, people. I just think Miami's the much better team. Let's just be frank. The Broncos is just disappointing. I'm done backing them. I had them over 6.5, 7.5 wins still. Yeah. I just don't see it. The defense is still good, but Russ, honestly, I can't even make the case the defense isn't any good anymore. They just gave up 35 to Sam Howell. No disrespect, but 30 something, regardless the quarterback, is still too much still. Let's just be honest. Maybe against not the 49ers and the Cowboys, but 30 points is too much against any other team. Still, let's just be honest. So,
yeah.
Give me Miami, and then at home, Dill. You lost 2 in a row at home. You expect me to go on the road and start winning games out of nowhere? Yeah. All right.
And yeah. And Miami's gonna put them on the hot side of the field. Yeah, I just don't know how anyone takes Denver here. It's a perfect tease spot to get them down to half. I do think Denver will play a little more desperate.
Or tease Denver up, because I doubt Denver loses by 10 or 10.5. You get like 12. You can tease them up to 12. I doubt they lose by 10. If they lose by 10.
I mean, they beat the Patriots by 7, and then they beat the Chargers, who they've been more battle tested, I would argue, than the Denver Broncos. But yeah, I teased the Miami Dolphins down as well to a half. I think that they are the right side. It wouldn't surprise me if they did cover, to be honest. I like the over. I think they score some points. I think they score anywhere from like 20 to 30 alone, Miami, and I think Denver could score 15, 20 points as well. So I do like the over. I like this buy low situation for Jerry Jeudy. He made his debut last week against the Redskins. He only had 3 catches. His reception prop is at 3.5, -115. And I'm going to take the over. He looked healthy in his first game back. He played 78% of the snaps last week. And I just think that's going to go up. Great spot against the Dolphins team. They struggle against slot receivers, and they allowed 11 catches by slot receivers in the first 2 weeks. The best corner, Xavier Howard, he doesn't travel, so he's going to most likely stay on the outside. He'll probably focus on Cortland Sutton on the outside. And last year, Jerry Jeudy finished the season going over this line in 8 of his last 9 games. So I think it continues. They kind of eased them back in a week 1 against a very underrated Washington defense. So Miami has a good defense. They allow a lot to the slot corner. So I think Xavier Howard's going to most likely focus his attention on Cortland Sutton. I think this is a good buy low situation for Jerry Jeudy. So Jerry Jeudy over 3.5 receptions at -115. I do like that play. So that's going to be an official play for me. And I am also going to tease Miami down to a half. All right, let's get to the 4:00 window. We will start in the Pacific Northwest. We'll go out to Seattle. Seattle hosting the Carolina Panthers. Seattle laying 5.5 at home, -230 on the money line, +5.5 for the Carolina Panthers, +190 on the money line. Over under is at 42. Will Dessly, tight end for Tennessee, out. Bryce Young out, dealing with an ankle injury. Andy Dalton, the Red Rifle, is starting. Last time he played in Seattle, guess how many yards he threw for?
Definitely wasn't a lot. It had to be during the Legion of Boom era. So I'm going to say 174.
No. Over 400 yards, but took an L. But took an L. But took an L. So
what year? Cincinnati days?
Yeah, Cincinnati days. So I think they have a shot. I think the offense will be, look a little decent, but the Seahawks shouldn't be laying this many points against anyone. I think 5.5 is crazy to me. I think, especially with Andy Dalton, an experienced veteran who could read defenses and could pick them apart. I was very hesitant to take I saw 6.5s yesterday, and it's come down. I don't know. I wanted to stay away. I tried to be cute here. I tried to be cute. I was like, let me take the Panthers +6. I'm going to look like a sharp. But I stayed fucking away from it. It wouldn't surprise me if Seahawks win. They should win this game, especially without Bryce Young. But yeah, I'm going to stay away from it, kid. I really have nothing. I wanted to get cute and take Carolina, but I just stayed away. What do you got?
Dale, I'm gonna be honest, though. This is a tough matchup. Just
Yeah.
because, like you said, Seahawks should win this game. Seahawks should cover. It's just will they, Dale? We expected that week 1, and look what happened. And then week 2, we thought the Lions was going to take care of business. And look, these dudes win by 10. It's just my thing is, Dale, is which version of Andy Dalton are we going to see? Are we going to see the red rifle, or are we just going to see red? That's my thing. So going past Carolina's past 2 games, Dale, Bryce Young, I got no. Dale, it's a tough one. I'll lean the minus. I'll lean the -5.5 more than I'll take the plus. So if I had to come down to it, people, if anything, put Seattle in a teaser.
Yeah.
Just because they should take care of business. But would it shock me, if Carolina's defense shows up and then Seattle's held to 17, 20 points
and they backdoor cover? It wouldn't surprise me. I agree. I think this was a very tricky game. So
the over-under's at 42 for a reason.
Exactly.
It's not going to be a lot of points scored. I highly doubt Seattle gets more than 20, 24 max. Max 24.
And usually when the total's so low and the spread is high, we like to take the points because they are thinking it's a lower scoring game. So I agree with you. Should be a very interesting game. I just stayed away from it. One team I will stay away from the rest of the season, and please do not let me back them. If I do, make a note, say, Dylan, September 23rd, you told me you're never going to take this team again. The Chicago Bears are on the road taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs laying 12.5 at Arrowhead. I'm not even going to say the money lines. It's insane. +2, 12.5 for the Bears. Over under is at 48.5. Travis Kelce is questionable. He'll play. Kadarius Toney is questionable as well, but it looks like he will play. I will not bet on the Bears ever again. This team is dysfunctional. They fired, or the defensive coordinator left, and he made a statement through his notes app. We could discuss that if you want. I mean, that's kind of unprofessional, if in my opinion. But I really don't know, man. I think I like kind of like the over 47. I think they could score some points. I think Chiefs could score 30, 40 on the Bears alone. And the Bears, they'll happen to throw a pick 6. Justin Fields will throw a pick or 2. So kind of lean Justin Fields over his rushing yards. It seems a little low at 52.5. He's had 53 rushing yards in 9 of 10 games to end the season last year. So, he did make comments about the coaching, which I don't think he was wrong. The coaching has been an issue. It's just when the player comes out and criticizes the coaching, everyone jumps up in arms about, but they're not letting him lose. Look at last year when they beat the Patriots in primetime. They allowed Justin Fields to play his game. A lot of RPO, a lot of scrambling ability. He feels like he's pressured to do what they want, and that's not how Justin Fields operates. So, if anything, I lean Justin Fields rushing the ball because I do think he's going to try to extend the play a little more, but I don't think the Bears have a shot in this game. So, if anything, I lean Justin Fields over his rushing yards, but that's about it, E. What do you got?
Yeah, I just want to give a piece of advice to Kansas City front office and coaching staff. Rule out Travis Kelce. There's no need for an aging Pro Bowl tight end with a bad knee to be in this game. Just want to throw that out there, people. For anybody listening, hopefully you guys just take my advice. Hey, give me a job. My name is Elvis Acosta. Follow me. Don't start Travis Kelce. Don't play him. No need to. You're facing the Bears at Arrowhead. You don't need Travis Kelce. With that being said, Dill, give me the Kansas City Chiefs. I ended up teasing them down from 12.5 to 6.5, Dill. I think this is a perfect teaser just to play it safe, Dill. Remember, you got to be careful when these games are out of control and then the fourth quarter starts and one side just takes their foot off the gas and then teams end up backdoor recovery. We saw it last Monday night with the Panthers versus the Saints. The game was well taken care of. Panthers scored a touchdown with basically a minute left. So I'll be careful with the backdoor cover, people. Give me Kansas City, tease them down to -6.5.
And if they do wind up sitting Travis Kelce, just credit the dream wager if that happens, because we were the first ones to say that. So yeah, credit us and Elvis Acosta on that. Let's go. 2 games left. Dallas Cowboys on the road taking on the Arizona Cardinals. Cowboys laying 12.5 on the road, -700, +500 for the Cardinals, +12.5. Over under is at 42.5. Obviously, we talked about Diggs being out. 95% of the tickets and money is on the Cowboys for good reason. But I will say this as a bright spot, kind of spinning it to a positive. Zach Ertz has actually had a really good season, I thought. First 2 games, I know they've lost both games, but against Washington, 6 catches, 21 yards. He's had 6 catches in both of his games, 6 catches for 56 yards against the Giants. I think he is a good pickup for fantasy. If you're looking for a tight end, Josh Dobbs could make some plays. So, Cardinals, they're a gritty team, and I think Dobbs can make some plays. And I was leaning actually to taking the points with this big number. Honestly, 12.5. I think this is a good teaser spot as well to get him up to 18.5. But I lean the Cardinals plus 12.5, and I want to look at the props for Zach Ertz over 3.5 receptions. It's chalky. It's at -145, but like I said, he's had 6 catches in both of his games. So Josh Dobbs does find him the ball, and he can make some plays. So lean Zach Ertz over 3.5 receptions.
Deal. This, you know me. You know how I am. I always tend to stay away from the big number games. The big, huge, double-digit covers. But Dill, this one, I might lay it. For one reason only. I think this defense is going to go out and show out for their man, Trayvon Diggs, still. I know it hurts that locker room losing arguably, one of the best corners in football. Still, I just have a feeling Michael Parsons, but I don't know if you saw it, Dill. Your boy Bart Scott made a joke on live TV.
Good.
I don't know if you saw it, Dill, but Michael Parsons calls him a goofy clown. He basically called him, say a couple words to him, but basically saying, this guy is a goofy. He shouldn't be on air. He's whack for that, basically what he said. And I think Michael Parsons and the defense is going to go out here and send a message to say, 1, we got our dogs back, and 2, we're still the best defense in football, Dill, even without them. I expect the Dallas Cowboys defense to go out there and make a statement for their boy Trayvon Diggs. I ended up teasing Dallas down to -6 with the Kansas City Chiefs. So they're both at -6, -6.5. Chiefs and Cowboys at -134. But Dill, I'll be tempted to lay the 12 with the Dallas Cowboys, Dill, just because I have a feeling that defense is going to show out for their boy.
Don't want to start a tangent, but people who are calling for Bart Scott's job.
All right, that's too much now.
No, just even saying it was a bad joke. It was a harmless joke when every media member in the world was making fun of Jets and Aaron Rodgers Tuesday on September 12th. Then when he did it, a former Jet, what Stephen A. always does, it's the most hypocritical thing I've ever said. He was playing on what Stephen A. has done his whole career. And now Ryan Clark, he should be the last person to talk about dirty. Ryan Clark's one of the most dirtiest players I've ever seen, hitting people without the ball over the middle. And yeah, it was a different age when they played football. But everyone who's harping on Bart Scott, shut the fuck up, honestly. It was a harmless joke. He didn't mean anything by it. And people are calling for his job.
Yeah.
There's sick people in this world, Elvis.
Yeah, I don't think he should lose his job. At the end of the day, people, it was a joke. I understand it might have not been the time and the place, fresh, morning news that we got. But at the end of the day, people, it was just a joke. At the end of the day, I don't don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I agree with what he said, but at the end of the day, I don't think he should lose his job over it. I don't think he should get hate mail over it. All I'm saying is it's a joke, people. At the end of the day, relax. Yeah. Stephen A., I understand Stephen A. doesn't say it after an injury, but Stephen A. phrase is, well, will go wrong, what can go wrong, will go wrong for the Dallas Cowboys. And that's all Bart Scott said. He didn't say, oh, Trayvon did this, that. You know, he just said a phrase that Stephen A. always says. Yes, the timing of it, horrible. No denying. I'm not trying to advocate or defend Bart Scott. All I'm saying is the man shouldn't lose his job for it. That's all.
And yeah, I agree. Bad timing, but a man shouldn't lose his job over a bad joke and bad timing. That's ridiculous. Anyway, we'll go to Sunday Night Football. Steelers on the road taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. Can't believe this line. Steelers.
Facts, right?
On the road, catching 2.5 points, plus 116 on the money line. If you want to take the dog. Oh, it's at even better. Oh my God, money's coming in on the Raiders. -3, -3 for the Raiders. -136 for the Raiders on the money line. Over under is at 43. I'm all over the Steelers here. Plus 2.5 on the money line. I love the Steelers here. This is a get-right spot for Kenny Pickett. Raiders, they're bad, and this Steelers defense up front is going to cause serious problems for Jimmy G. So I think he's going to be on the run all day. I'm this confident. Don't even take the points. If you want to take them in a teaser, get them up to, you said it's up to 3 right now. Get them up to +9. No way the Raiders win by 9. So I'm going to take the Steelers plus the points and on the money line. I honestly just don't understand this line at all. So I think this is a great spot for Kenny Pickett and the Steelers.
Dill, I'm with you, Dill. I'm not as confident in taking the Steelers, though I do like the +3, Dill. It's just Kenny Pickett hasn't looked good. You know, I do believe the Steelers is the right side in this situation. But I could agree with the line, though. I could see why. I'm not saying the Raiders are the better team. They're not. But I could see why the line is +3. Dill. Kenny Pickett hasn't looked good. Both games are at home. Looked horrendous week 1. And then week 2, I understand he walked out with a victory, Dill. But we both know he did. That was a bad game by him as well, Dill. I'll lean the under, and I'll lean the +3. I have no official play here, but I do think the Pittsburgh Steelers will walk out Vegas 2-1, Dill. It's just both these teams did not look impressive to me week 2. The only bright side about this game is TJ Watt might have another monster game, and the defense might have another touchdown. You know? Yeah. So that's the only thing, you know. So I think Pittsburgh defense will lead the charge, and Kenny Pickett will bring it home, Dill. If anything, I'll lean the under. Check my action tomorrow on the total. I might take the under 43 just because I feel like it might be like a 17 to like 13 game. The Raiders are averaging about 14 points a game. We saw them score 17 in a win against Denver, and then just 16 points last week in Buffalo. So what makes you think they're gonna score over 20 regardless on Pittsburgh defense? So yeah, I'll lean the over. I mean the under.
The under, yeah, I agree on the under as well. And you're right. Kenny Pickett hasn't looked good in his first 2 games. I think he has actually been the problem for that offense. George Pickens looks good. I think they need to run the ball a little more. But
with TJ Warner.
Oh, so you're out on Najee.
I'm not out on Najee, but all I'm saying is Warner looking like he could do a little more at the moment. That's all.
Do you think he has enough thread on those tires, Najee, or do you think the 4 years at Alabama have hurt him?
I'm going to say...
It looks like it, though.
I'm going to say the tires are not the same thread as they were last year. I'm going to say that.
Yeah, so I agree. I think this is just... I just like their defense so good, and I think this is a good bounce-back spot for the Steelers. I know they won, but let's be honest. We watched the game. They shouldn't have walked out of there with the win. And, you know, Kenny Pickett has been the problem for this offense, but against this defense, I think he could do some things well. I don't think the pressure between Max Crosby, Chandler Jones has not been good.
He hasn't showed up.
Yeah, so... I think this is just a good get-right spot. Should be a low-scoring, close game, but I think the Steelers do walk out of there with the win. Who do I trust? McDaniels, or do I trust Mike Tomlin? You know what I mean? I know that's your boy, but I got to go with my boy Mike Tomlin here. So, Elvis, good luck. We'll take care of the doubleheader tomorrow. We'll recap tomorrow. Any other plays in the Diamond or anywhere else this weekend you got for us?
Dill, got some play slash leans on the diamonds, Dill. Give me the Red Sox minus 151 on the money line today. At home, Pavetta's on the mound versus the Chicago White Sox. Over under sitting at 8.5. If the rain doesn't show up, I think we'd be able to take care of business. It's a 4:10 start time. If the rain shows up, I think we could possibly get an early game in, Dill. Probably get it delayed and we win 5-3, something like that. And then I'll lean Detroit on the road against the Oakland Athletics, Dill. The only reason I'm not gonna put money on it, because at the end of the day, it's the Detroit Tigers on the road, Dill. But I do think they're the right side here. Oakland has just been disastrous all year. We already know what they're going to end up next season. I like Detroit Tigers on the money line minus 130 versus the uh, Athletics. And then my other lean will be Dill. I like Tampa at home versus Toronto. I know Tampa has been a little lackluster as late, Dill, but I think Tampa could take care of business at home versus Toronto. I didn't take it officially, but I'll lean them.
On the opposite side, give me the Toronto Blue Jays. I got them at plus 124 against them. Henry Ryu has been fantastic. I think he's better than Zach Liddell a little bit. I know it's on the road, but Blue Jays playing really good baseball. I get they should be the favorite at home, but plus 124. I see plus 118s out there. I think that is pretty too big of a dog, I would argue, for them. And then my last play, minus 140 with Tim Means on the mound. Baltimore Orioles taking care of business on the road against the Cleveland Guardians. I'll take the Baltimore Orioles minus 140 as well. And then one WNBA playoff, or actually, I low-key want to take the Suns plus 8.5 against the Liberty. They're 2-2 against the spread against Liberty this season. So really want to take the Suns, on the road plus 8.5. I think that's a little too big. And then we're going to go back to reliable Aces first half over at home, 87.5. They're going against a Wings team that just puts up numbers. So I think we see a really high scoring, not just game, series between the Aces and the Wings. By the way, last week in the MLB, and then we start the playoffs in 2 weeks, kid. We're in the final stretch. Can't wait for it. Playoff baseball's nothing better than that. But Elvis, any last words before we get out of here, kid?
Dill, as of now, through the first 2 weeks of the NFL season, your boy's positive. So I would just love to end week 3 still positive. So still in the green. Hopefully your boy just has a positive week, people. If you follow along, hopefully you get some money.
Let's fucking go. Yeah. 1-1 on the week. Had a bad week 1, but good week 2. Started 3-1 on Thursday. So yeah, let's finish week 3 strong. Get back into green. And that's going to do it for this Saturday edition of the Dream Wager. On behalf of our sponsor, Viva, Elvis, myself. We'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll recap the games. We'll talk a little Sunday Night Football as well. We'll give our best bets for the doubleheader on Monday. So follow along our social media, X and Instagram at The Dream Wager. You can find all of our episodes wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher. We go live on YouTube every Saturday, Sunday, and Wednesday. YouTube.com/The Dream Wager. Subscribe, rate, give us a review. All that good stuff really helps the show grow tremendously. So be a friend, tell a friend. Everyone have a great day. Good luck on your wagers tomorrow. Be safe, be well, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.